Good afternoon, boys and girls. We're on lesson 97, ratios. Oh, what happened? Okay. Your objective for today is to use a ratio to describe a relationship between two numbers. But first, let's start with our math joke. All right. So the teacher says, if I give you two rabbits and another two rabbits, how many rabbits have you got? And the boy says, seven. And the teacher says, no, listen carefully. If I give you two rabbits and another two rabbits, how many rabbits have you got? The boy says, seven. And the teacher says, well, let's try this another way. If I give you two apples and another two apples, how many apples have you got? Six. And so the teacher says, good. Now, if I give you two rabbits and another two rabbits, how many rabbits have you got? Seven. And the teacher says, how on earth do you work out that three lots of two rabbits is seven? And the boy says, I've already got one rabbit at home. All right. So your new concept for today. So first you need to write down ratio, what a ratio means, which is a way of comparing numbers by division. All right. So write that definition down. Ratio, a way of comparing numbers by division. Okay. So when we do ratios, it says here, look at this statement. If there are 12 boys and 18 girls in a class, then the ratio of boys to girls is 12 to 18. All right. So when we use ratios, we compare, like, they're comparing boys and girls in this case, right? So there's 12 boys and then 18 girls. Now, if you're doing boys to girls, then it sounds like 12 to 18. Okay. Now, what we do when we show that as a number, it looks like this: 12 over 18. Okay, that is a ratio. This fraction, 12 over 18, is the way that we show the ratio of 12 to 18. Okay, and that's how whenever we look at ratios, that's what it sounds like. See, and then this is how we say it: 12 to 18. And then what we can do is we can reduce our ratio 12 to 18 to by dividing by 6 on each side, and it equals 2/3, right? 2 to 3. So for every 2 boys in the class, there's 3 girls. And so that's what a ratio is, okay? And so if you did it backwards, if you said you wanted girls to boys, basically you would do the girls number on top, which is 18 over 12, okay? And so that's how you would do girls to boys. Oops. All right, let's go to our next slide. Now here's a example for today. There are 12 girls and 16 boys in the class. What was the ratio of boys to girls? Remember, it says boys first. Even though they put boys second here, they're asking for the boys to girls. So what you're going to do is you're going to have boys, 2 would be our line, and then girls would be on the bottom. So what we're going to do is you put boys over girls, right? Because it says boys to girls. And then we plug in the numbers for boys, which is 16. And then we plug in the number for girls, which is 12. So unlike fractions, we do not write ratios as mixed numbers. All right. So this is something, it's a little different, because with ratios, we can have a larger number on top. It's not an improper fraction. And in fact, this is not a typical fraction. It's called a ratio. Okay. So unlike fractions, we do not write ratios as mixed numbers. The top number of the ratio may be greater than the bottom number, but we can reduce ratios. So in this case, the ratio of boys to girls is 4 over 3. 4 boys to every 3 girls. All right, so how you achieve that is you have 16 over 12 and you divide both the top and the bottom by 4. And then when we simplified it, it's 4 over 3. Okay, so if we were to do the ratio of girls to boys, the girls number is 12, and that would be girls number on top, and then boys number, which is 16, on the bottom. So the ratio of girls to boys would just be 3/4, or three girls to every 4 boy. Now here's your lesson practice. There's only 4, okay? Um, so the first part, it says there were 20 prairie dogs and 30 jackrabbits in a section of Texas High Plains. So we want to find the ratio of jackrabbits to prairie dogs. So remember, your 2 would be your line. Okay, so jackrabbits would be on top. Say if this, let's use this line for example. That would be our denominator, or our fraction line. So put the jackrabbits on top, which is 30, and then 20 on the bottom. But we can't do that. We can't just leave it like that. You want it in its simplest form, okay? If it's 30 on top and 20 on bottom, what would be the simplest form? And that's what your answer is going to be for letter A, okay? And the same thing with the ratio of prairie dogs to jackrabbits. The 2 would be our line. This one would be on top. This one would be on the bottom. Prairie dog would be on top, which was 20, and then jackrabbits on the bottom, which is 30. But we can't leave it like that. Put it in its simplest form. All right, if you guys have any questions on A, B, C, or D, please write those questions on the back, and then we can go over it in class. All right, hopefully you guys have a great night, and we look forward to seeing you in the morning.